Hello, welcome to episode 128 of the Trading Without Borders podcast with Omobi, your host. Before moving into today's discussion, I would like to reintroduce myself and the podcast for the benefit of our new joiners. So my name is Mobola Adekola, and I am the founder and host of this podcast called Trading Without Borders podcast. The podcast is focused on accelerating and advancing the opportunities, the gains, and the impact of the African Continental Free Trade Area. The podcast has been on for over 2 years, that should be close to 3 years now, and usually we release weekly episodes, but for some reason this year we haven't been consistent with that. It's because of some back-end restructuring ongoing, and I thought that was going to be concluded soon enough, but that's still not yet completed. But we will definitely resume our weekly release of episodes. So moving to today's episode, for today's episode we will take a pause on our discussions focused on the AfCFTA Digital Trade Protocol. We've been speaking to that for some few weeks now, but today we are going to look at the recent news about Nigeria's gazetting of its provisional schedule of tariff concessions. So 2 days ago, Nigeria gazetted its provisional schedule of tariff concessions, and this means that the AfCFTA can be fully implemented domestically, that's within Nigeria, and Nigeria is the 23rd African country or state party to do that. It essentially means that Nigeria has a waived duty on 90% of goods traded in Africa. So 90% of goods traded in Africa will be traded or exported or imported duty-free as long as the goods qualify for eligible treatment. And what does it take to qualify for eligible treatment? Before speaking to that, just a general overview of what this means. It just basically means that it's an opportunity for businesses, for Nigerian businesses, to trade under preferential terms, to export their goods under preferential terms, provided the goods meet the eligibility criteria. It's also an opportunity for other businesses from state parties of the AfCFTA who the countries that have also gazetted their provisional schedule of tariff concessions to also import their own goods under preferential terms as long as the products or the goods meet the eligibility criteria. And what is that? What's the eligibility criteria? I have spoken to that in one of my earliest episodes when we started the podcast, and we were talking about trading goods protocol. It's basically trying to determine the origin of goods or products. So the rules of origin to determine if the goods originate within any of the state parties in order to qualify for preferential treatment. So it is not just about the product or the goods being in Africa. It must meet some certain criteria for you to be able to trade or export or import that product duty-free. So what is the criteria? And under the rules of origin criteria, that goods or product must be only obtained in any of the state parties. Examples of such products will be live animals, product obtained from live animals, natural resources, gold, etc. Of course, vegetables, amongst others. So if that product is only obtained in any of those state parties, that are Ghana, Nigeria, Kenya, any of the state parties that are members or parties to the AfCFTA, then the goods will qualify. So if it's not only obtained, then the second criteria that will be used is the substantial transformation test. So this basically means that your good has been substantially transformed within the state parties, and there are 4 tests that will be used to determine that the specific processes used in the transformation process will be determined. There must be change in tariff heading. The value added will also be considered, and the percentage of non-originating material or the content will also be used to assess. So I've spoken extensively about this in one of my earliest episodes. You can listen to get the details of what each of these 4 tests will do. So once your product meets this criteria, then it will qualify for preferential treatment. So as long as it's one of the product that falls under the 90% tariff lines, then you can export or import duty free. So that is what's I haven't spoken to this. I just pardon me. What we then need to start doing is, how do we then prepare ourselves? What is required for us to get our goods to meet this criteria? Where are the markets where I can sell my products? What do I need to take there? So this is these are some of the preparation or issues that you need to then focus on. How can I position to take advantage of the benefits of the AfCFTA? How can I export my goods with duty free? How do I import to another state party duty free? What are the things that need to be put in place? Is my business capable? Do I need to build capacity? Do I need to collaborate? Because you have opportunities now to trade within Africa under preferential trade terms. So I'm going to stop here for today, and there will be another episode released next week. And until next week, as usual, this podcast is for educational purposes only. If you need expert advice, you need information about entering any African country or expanding your operations across Africa, just reach out to me. My name is Omobola Dekola on LinkedIn. And until next week, I say to you, bye-bye.